What's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax with an updated version of my top 10 prospect autographs in 2022 Bowman. Now, there are some qualifications for this list. They must be hitters under the age of 24 and within rookie limits, and production always outweighs projection. Now, since there are several players that have graduated to the MLB, I'm going to put a list up of those as well. Each of the top 10 will also have a Let's Talk Wax ranking, and you can see in the graph here to the right how I have them tiered. Now, as I said before, I'm going to have a list of the players that are currently in the MLB, but I'm not going to put them in the top 10 because with most of my stuff, I graduate those players on to the next level. But without further ado, we're going to check out the current top 10 prospect autographs in 2022 Bowman. At number 10, we've got Jose Ramos with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's 22.6, plays center field in Double-A right now. He's having a pretty solid year, hitting .255 with a 183 ISO. He's a little bit more power over batting average. I think 28% K rate and a 2.5 K to walk ratio. So average K numbers right there, 18 home runs and 7 stolen bases. He's pretty consistent and linear with his career numbers. His 2023 batting average is 255 compared to a career average of 271, and his ISO is right around 180 and 190 for his career in 2023. So I see Jose Ramos as more of a floor guy. He could be kind of have a solid big leaguer ceiling, I think, but it's really tough to crack the big leagues in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. He's not a top 100 prospect organizationally. He's number 20. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3 for me, and you can find his first Chrome autos for about $20 right now. At number 9, we've got Everson Arteaga, San Francisco Giants. He's 20.4, playing in high A, a shortstop with plenty of plate appearances in 2023. Now, he had a really ugly start to the 2023 season, and his 2022 season was really good. I think he had like 30 plus doubles. The guy really is an extra base hit machine, but he struggled a little bit in the front half of the 2023 season so far, but he's sort of coming to life. You can see he's got a 200 ISO, fringy K number is 25.3 K percentage, which is actually better than it was to start the year. He's improved that number. 3.12 K to walk ratio, a little high for me. 16 home runs and 7 doubles for a 20.4-year-old in high A is pretty good in my opinion. But like I said, he's really focused and locked in on extra base hits right now. The kid hits a ton of doubles, and his speed kind of plays pretty well, I think, running the bases more than it does when he's on the base paths trying to steal bases. So he's got a 263 career batting average, a 183 ISO, and a 27.2 K percentage. So pretty linear numbers, a 20-point difference in batting average, and about a 17-point difference in ISO. So he's been doing pretty well throughout the course of his career. And like I said before, there's a little slip in the front half of 2023, but he's getting better, and I definitely don't think he's a guy to give up on right now. His cards were around $50 going into this season, which tells you how good of a 2022 he had, but they've dropped down to about $20 right now. He's not a top 100 prospect organizationally. He's number 12, and he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3. At number 8, we've got a pretty interesting prospect, James Trianos. I know a lot of guys that are really high on this kid, 20.5 Chicago Cubs. He's an infielder, high A. He's had a rough start to the year. He had knee surgery, which took away a lot of the front half of his year in 2023. He's got a really good hit tool, absolutely elite K numbers, and I think the big question, though, here is how much power he will grow into. He's 20.5 and still hasn't really shown a whole lot of power. He's got a 119 ISO in 2023 and a 135 career ISO, which is the lowest in this top 10 list. But if you look at his K numbers, they are immaculate. He's got the lowest 2023 K percentage on this list and the lowest career K percentage, 14.7 on this list as well. So he's going to hit for average. He's got a really good approach, which is going to help him tap into a lot of raw power in game. I think that usually kind of coincides when guys take a lot of walks and have good K numbers. They're usually able to maximize a lot of their raw power in game. So whatever raw power he does grow into for the next 2 years, he's probably going to figure out most of it. But like I said, the power is the biggest question right here, and it's a really big accelerant in the hobby. There's a lot of guys who hit for average in this hobby, and their cards don't sell very well. But once the power starts to show up, that's when they start to boom. So pick and choose your battles there if you think he's going to grow into some power. But he's not a top 100 prospect organizationally in the Cubs system. He's number 9, and it's a pretty good system. So number 9 in that organization could be like top 5 in some bad ones. Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, and his cards have probably hit an all-time low right now of $25. At number 7, we've got Max Muncy, and this is a guy that I kind of gave up on in 2022. I wouldn't say gave up on, but I kind of just, pushed him to the side and didn't really pay close attention to him. Oakland A's, he's 20.9. plays shortstop. He started the year in high A, struggled in high A, got promoted to double A, and he's actually doing much better in double A than he did in his first stint in high A to start the year. He's hitting 265 with a 134 ISO. He's got fringy K numbers, kind of like Arteaga, 27.2 K percentage and 2.90 K to walk ratio, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember looking at the stats between double A and high A that his K numbers were actually better in double A as well. So a good sign there. He's had a really strong August. I think he's hitting like 368 with 3 or 4 home runs in August so far. So he's finishing very hot to a season where he started very slow in high A and he's finishing hot in double A. So there could be some traction going into 2024 here. 9 home runs, 10 stolen bases. And you can see he's got his career batting average increased by about 20 points. His career ISO is down, but he's adjusting to double A. And sometimes that power takes a little bit to take off. You'll notice in the top 5 with Edgar Quiero that his power numbers have dipped significantly in double A. Still hitting for some average, but he's also one of the younger players in double A who's kind of got a power dip right now. I think a lot of those kids go up there and focus on contact, and they're not really worried about hitting for power. And when they get more comfortable, that power kind of starts to come through. But that's just my opinion. He's not a top 100 prospect, top 10 in the Oakland A system, so he's dropped several ranks. I think a lot of people have kind of put Muncy on the back burner. Let's talk wax rank of 3, and I think his cards are also at an all-time low, kind of like Triana's at $20. At number 6, we've got Ryan Bliss, who had a breakout season in 2023. He started with the D-backs. He was recently traded to the Seattle Mariners. He's one of the oldest players on this list at 23.7, but he absolutely probably had one of the best minor league seasons of any player in 2023. But he's starting to cool off a little bit over the last month or two. His numbers have slowly diminished, and what you're looking at in 2023, if you would have checked his stats 2 months ago, his 2023 season numbers would have been a heck of a lot better than what they are now. But he's hitting 317 with a 205 ISO, so that coveted 300 plus batting average, 200 plus ISO that I always look for in esteemed prospects. 18.3 K rate and a 2.48 K to walk ratio. He's hit 13 home runs and stole 39 bases between double A and triple A. So he's got a really good in-game speed. He plays second base. He's not a very big guy, but he does generate a little bit of pop. Like you said, you got the 205 ISO, a lot of extra base hits. His numbers, as I mentioned before, his 2023 season numbers are much higher than his career numbers, and you can take a look at that. I always put the career numbers with the 2023 season numbers because of situations like this. You know, Ryan Bliss is having a breakout year is kind of a fluke, you know. Doesn't match up to his career numbers, so I always try to compare career and season numbers with all prospects that I cover. But like I said, he's done it over the course of an entire season, and supposedly there was a swing change that took place this offseason, so not sure if that had anything to do with it, but he's not a top 100 prospect. Organizationally, with the Mariners, he is now 15 in that organization, 2.5 on Let's Talk Wax Rank, and his cards are right around $35 right now. Now, if you all enjoy my content and you'd like to help support the channel, be sure to check out my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the video description. Over there, you can find autograph checklist breakdowns for every Bowman release since 2019 that I update about 5 times per year, a top 100 Bowman Chrome Autos list, and a top 100 Bowman Chrome Autos under $50 list. I also have a private Discord server with nearly 200 members who have lots of knowledge in the hobby. All Patreon members also get 24 hours early access to all of my video info. So if you want to check out all of my exclusive content and help support the channel, I'll put a link to my Patreon page in the video description. Now, before we get into our top 5, I'm going to jump over to the guys that are MLB graduates on this checklist that I didn't put in the top 5 based on my qualifications. Some of the other players on this list that don't have autos and some honorable mentions, but we're going to start off with the notable grads. Of course, Elly De La Cruz is in this release, probably one of the hottest players in baseball right now, along with his teammate Matt McLain, who is hitting very well at the big league level. Curtis Mead was recently called up to the Tampa Bay Rays system. I think had to kind of do with the Wander issue, and he's going to stay up there for a little bit. Oscar Colas is on this checklist, Oswaldo Cabrera, and Jack Suwinski. So those are my top 6 graduates that are on this Bowman Chrome Auto checklist. But like I said, they've graduated from my prospect status, which is about 20 to 25 Major League plate appearances, but they are still in this release, and I did not put them in the top 10 because they do not qualify anymore. Now I've got Dustin Harris as a notable 24 plus. He disqualified based on his age. He's like 21 or 24.1. My honorable mentions are Worming Bernabel, who is back and healthy, and he's having a pretty solid finish to the back half. He kind of fell off the table as a prospect in 2023, but I think he's having a pretty good finish to his 2023 season in Double-A. And Dario Lopez, who's been out for the year, definitely a guy to watch in 2024. And Jackson Chourio has a first chrome in this release, but his first chrome auto is in 2022 Bowman, so you won't find him in this top 10. It's going to bring us to our top 5. Darell Hernaiz, Oakland A's. He was traded to the A's a couple months ago, and with the Oakland A's, he's got a much clearer path as an infielder. The Baltimore Orioles infield is absolutely stacked in the farm system and at the major league level right now. So even though he got traded to a weaker organization, it's going to provide a clear path for Hernaiz, I think, going forward. He's played 90% of his innings at shortstop in Oakland between Double-A and Triple-A. He's got the highest 2023 season batting average on this list at 340. Doesn't have a ton of power. I think he's a little more hit over power of 152 ISO and the 131 career ISO, which is the lowest career ISO on this list. He's got a 15% K rate and a 1.86 K to walk ratio, 8 homers, 12 stolen bases. Career-wise, he's hitting just under 300 with a 17% K rate. And I see Hernaiz as a guy who I think could be a solid big leaguer. He seems like a floor player who has a really good chance to play at the big league level and have a solid career. But I don't see him doing anything exceptional. He's not going to be like a Julio Rodriguez who goes out there and becomes an organizational star. But I really like Hernaiz. He's pretty safe play at his position and offensively, but he's not a top 100 prospect. He's 12th in the organization. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2 for me, and his top Bowman Chrome autos are currently selling for right around $25. At number 4 is another interesting prospect who really came alive in 2023, Jonathan Clase, Seattle Mariners 21.2 center fielder, started the year in high A and was promoted to Double-A pretty early in the season, where he's kind of struggled a little bit since. Now, Jonathan Clase can run and motor. He's got 61 stolen bases, the highest on this list, and it's not in low A or the complex league. It's between high A and Double-A. The kid has a motor. He's got a ton of extra base hits. Doubles and triples are kind of his forte right now. He's also got 17 home runs, so that puts his ISO right around 214 on the season and throughout his career. He's hit a bit of a wall with his batting average at 246, but I think he's gonna be more of an electric player. Just with his tools, he can hit for power. He hits for a little bit of average. He has the ability to steal bases at will pretty much, so he's one of the higher ceiling power speed prospects in any release right now, but he is a bit risky, like I said, with the 246 batting average and the 26.9 K percentage. His K percentage was a little higher. He's dropped that down since Double-A, getting promoted and adjusting, but definitely a guy to keep an eye on. His cards were selling for like $75, I think, when he was coming out of high A, because he just destroyed that level to start the season, but they're back down to about 30. Not a top 100 prospect organizationally. He's number 8, and he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2 just because of the tools that he possesses, and if he can put things together, he could be a pretty special player down the road. As I mentioned before, at number 3, we've got Edgar Quero, recently traded to the Chicago White Sox, 20.4 catcher in Double-A. He was one of the youngest players in Double-A this year and still held his own. Another kid kind of like Trianos who's got immaculate K to walk ratio numbers. He's got a really good approach. He's walked just as many times as he struck out in Double-A so far this year. Now, also I mentioned about the power dip that he experienced coming into Double-A. He's got a 0.96 ISO, the lowest ISO on this list in 2023. But he's got a career 175 ISO, so I think the power will come. His average and ISO both dipped a little bit coming into Double-A based on his career numbers. But the K numbers have stayed consistent, and that's one of the big things I look for with guys who are struggling are the K numbers really racking up here? Are they overmatched? But like I said, he's got really good K numbers, so it leads me to believe that he's going to show some improvement over the course of the 2024 season, possibly when he gets a little more used to playing in Double-A. So Jefferson Quero is a top 100 prospect at 86 organizationally in this White Sox system. Now he is number 3, and he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1.5, one of the cheapest 20-year-olds you're going to find in Double-A at $15. At number 2, we've got Colson Montgomery, another guy who was kind of injury-plagued this year. Chicago White Sox, 21.5 shortstop. He played between rookie ball and Double-A. His rookie ball stint was his rehab stint, but he did do a lot of damage in that complex league and high A rehab stint. So he's hitting 308 with a 209 ISO, 17.6 K percentage, and a 0.73 K to walk ratio. But like I said, since coming to Double-A, he's kind of struggled a little bit, and he did a lot of his damage on his rehab stints in the Complex League and High A. So keep that in mind because the numbers are a bit inflated for his 2023 season, but his career numbers are pretty solid for a youngster. 284 batting average, 152 ISO, and a 19.2 K rate. He got some time in Double-A last year. The injury took away some developmental time in the beginning of the 2023 season, but he's back in Double-A now, getting some more reps. So I think he's going to have a solid chance to do some damage maybe in 2024 if he can stay healthy. It's really hard to play and come back after an injury and, face lower level pitching and not face pitching that's the caliber of Double-A, because Double-A is a really hard level. So he's top 100 prospect. He's number 17 organizationally. He's number 1 with the White Sox. He's a Let's Talk wax rank of 1.5, and that could probably go up or down in 2024 depending on his ability to stay healthy, and get a large, full, healthy season at Double-A. That's what I really want to see with Colson Montgomery, is not a late season call-up, not a injury and then a call-up to rehab to Double-A. I want to see what he can do over the course of a full season when he stays healthy, and that's going to kind of help me determine what his Let's Talk wax rank will be in the coming future. But he's an $80 auto, so he is pretty expensive. At number 1, we've got James Wood, Washington Nationals, 20.9. He played between High A and Double-A. He plays center field and right field. I think he logged the majority of his innings in center field, but he did play a significant amount of right field too. I'm not sure if he's going to have the athleticism or the defensive capabilities to stick in center field, but that's not really the high ceiling aspect of James Wood. It's the power. You can see he's got the highest ISO on this list at 278 for a 20-year-old that played between High A and Double-A. The K rate has got a little crazy at the Double-A level, but he actually has reduced that since being promoted. 2.4 K to walk ratio. He's got 22 jacks between High A and Double-A, again at the age of 20. The highest career ISO on this list, and a 291 career batting average. So James Wood is a very high ceiling player. He's also put the performance numbers up to show that, with the big power numbers and the ability to hit for average throughout his career. He's another guy who I think could be pretty impactful in 2024 after getting some time in Double-A. It's going to be interesting to see how he spans over the course of an entire season in Double-A. And being in that national system, we honestly could see a call-up in 2024. So something to keep in mind with James Wood. The only other problem is Dylan Cruz being right behind him, recently drafted by the Nationals. So he's another big-time outfielder in that organization who I think has a big league-ready bat already. But that's just my opinion on Dylan Cruz. I am a Go Tigers fan. But James Wood has really exploded in the hobby. His cards are about $200 right now, the most expensive on this list. In the top 100, he's number 7. He's organizationally number 2 behind Dylan Cruz, who was recently drafted by the Nationals. And he's a Let's Talk wax rank of 1 for me. As I mentioned before, if you guys want to help support the channel and unlock tons of exclusive content over on Patreon, I'll put a link to that in the video description. That's going to wrap up this video. I want to give a special shout out to all my level 3 patrons, and a special shout out to everyone who follows me on the channel. If you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be trying to put out some videos of late releases like this in the future. But y'all have a great day.